Hello, Enyo Dei-Tutu. I am so pleased that you found the time to agree to this interview today because I've wanted to chat with you about your success for a long time. And the idea of these interviews is, if people have watched any of the other ones, is I'm talking to clients and how they implemented the coaching. So what I'm hoping is that people can pick up tips through just listening to us have a chat, perhaps about their career or perhaps what to do about coaching, and just be inspired to try something new or grow in different directions so that everybody benefits. So thank you so much. How are you today?
I'm great, Maggie. I am excited to be talking to you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and it's um, a privilege, I think, to be sharing, some of the things that I've learned during my coaching journey with the world. I think people would greatly benefit from my experience and make a decision for themselves as well on
Yeah.
where to invest their money.
We were just talking about that before we started the recording about where do you invest your
Yes,
money. It's very interesting, isn't it? We'll come back to that perhaps in the course of the conversation.
sure.
So we first met, we think about 8 or 9 years ago.
2016, yeah.
We think so, yes. And I did. I was asked to do some one-day workshops in Accra in Ghana for tallow oil, I think, from memory.
Yes.
And I was really amazed to catch up with you like a couple of years or so, or even more after that one day workshop to find that you actually had implemented everything you'd learned and put it into practice. I think fundamentally the workshop at the time was about how to present, how to
Yeah.
communicate and have a real impact on people. But it was also a lot about how you use more of your mind. And you went ahead and made a speech, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I think one of the myths out there is that people are born as great speakers, but I think in that session, what I learned is that speaking or presenting is a learnable act. And so I set out to use the techniques that you shared on that day, and it greatly benefited me. I think the other myth as well is that you need to speak or present with a set of slides. And that was the first time I heard, put your slides away, no slides. And I thought, oh my God, how can you present without slides? But it brought it to life so much. And I could go on, but I think on that first day as well, the last thing I learned as is the
Ah, yes.
stories, and the analogies. And it's been with me since then. It's really powerful how you just get the attention of your audience as soon as you switch to a story, a personal story or an analogy. So that, session changed the way I present. So the
Yes.
journey started from that day. And thank you for showing us that speaking is a learnable art. No one was
Oh,
born a great speaker.
it's absolutely true. You get the tools and techniques and also some help if people are afraid of speaking, because that's quite natural. It builds up over time, perhaps from when people are younger. And that wasn't the case with you, but to get rid of those fears, that is also very possible. You just work on it a little bit with somebody that's trained in that way, which I am. But that speech you made, you eventually sent me a link, and I was blown away by that talk because you put all of them the tools and techniques into practice. As you say, you spoke without slides. You wrapped everything in stories. So you made three key points.
Yes.
So if people have had any presentation coaching from me, they'll know the power of three.
The power of
You
three.
don't need to make
Uh-huh.
more than 3 points. People generally don't remember. They probably don't remember more than 1 point, but never mind. Hopefully, you can get the three, and you did it beautifully. It's on Facebook somewhere, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think I think people forget that preparation, preparation, preparation. I remember when we met Maggie, you showed us some clips. I don't know if it was that first session, but you showed us some clips on like Boris. And then we said he doesn't prepare. You were like, that's his style. And then we watched, Barack Obama and other people. But I think my key takeaway is that be authentic, be yourself, but then practice, prepare, look in the mirror, especially if you're dealing with fear, make the positive affirmations and start, saying what you want to say on that day in front of your mirror. And you'll be amazed the confidence that, you build by just doing that, right? And I think
Yeah.
the other thing as well that, has stuck with me again over the years is the hand gestures. It
Ah,
because a
these are
lot of times when you're
thank you.
speaking, right, you don't know what to do with your hands and it could be awkward. So you have to be deliberate about, stressing on an issue, welcoming people, opening yourself up, like when you're listening to someone, just making sure that your posture is right, listening to the person to show that you are present. um it's just amazing. And it's also interesting how when I'm watching somebody now, whether on YouTube, I tend to look at, oh, what have they done differently, what can I pick up? So those things don't happen by chance. People think they do, but you need to learn it and then you have to practice it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's the key is jumping out and practicing, which you did.
Yeah.
And you make a really good point about the practice and the learning because you have the day job, which is super busy. Um, in your job now, I'm sure it takes up a lot of your time, and you have a family to look after as well.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to find the time? What gave you that time to practice and focus on it?
Um, I think, let me use one of the techniques I've learned from you, starting with the end in mind. I realized that coaching is really a catalyst for transformation. So I started thinking about, what would I get? What's the end game, if I invest in coaching, getting the career progression that I want, showing up well, just being a confident person. And I think those techniques have helped me plan, like having a vision board, making a commitment to invest time, family time, to make time to develop myself. So the thing is, without a plan, you end up failing, but just learning those techniques of having a vision and then behind that, having an action plan. And then things begin to work seamlessly once you have a plan and set your mind that you want to achieve it. And then starting with the end in mind, like I've always, every year now, I envision like the end of the year and what I want from a personal perspective, from a career perspective, how I want my friends and family to see me. And then I begin to work at it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not, it doesn't always go the way you want it to go, but once you have a plan, you go back to your plan and then start working at it. And it's like magic. It is like magic, honestly. Just having that vision board of what you'd like your life to look at the end of each year is amazing. And I think I should mention the spiritual aspect as well. If you're a person of faith, don't leave it to chance. Don't leave things to serendipity, as they say, plan, have a vision, and then work towards it.
Yeah.
So that's
I
what
mean,
I do. And it's been
yeah.
working.
Yes, hasn't it just? Since I've known you, you've done super well in your career. You really have.
Thank you, Maggie.
You're an inspiration to me anyway.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. And so are
really,
you, Maggie.
thank you. Um, what I ask all clients to do when they're in a
Mhm.
coaching program, as you may remember, is if they can share it with somebody, even do a little bit of mini coaching alongside their program, they'll get to understand their own program better, as well as sharing it and passing it on. I don't think it's anything better than pass it on. And I've seen you do that in action, particularly with the end outcome thinking, I believe. What's that like?
Oh, I think there's such fulfillment in
Ah,
sharing. And as they say, the learning is in the doing. So as I share, or if I look back at I'll talk about my previous role in Sandvik. So with my team, I would help them to think about, the next 3 years and how do we work towards it. Think about their strengths, their areas for development. And that, enables me to think about mine as well. And so just helping people on that journey gives me a better fulfillment, and it challenges me as well, right? To stick to the goals that I've set for myself. So
ah,
it's really amazing. Like we don't know how much we have inside until we start giving. And
yes,
then we realize that, oh, wow, I actually have more than I think. So I'm always ready to share. And I think just sharing and giving back is a transformational experience.
yes,
And so encouraging us to do that has helped, like me, for instance, on my own
yeah.
journey.
And I think there are plenty of examples. I've got videos up on YouTube where you can see some of the techniques in action. And even, if you can't do some coaching, I think at least give it a try to
Yeah,
actually try to put some of the techniques that you can see in operation online into action. It takes courage, I think. You have to be prepared to fail a little bit, and that's
I
okay.
know.
Because that that builds resilience. I don't get it right all the
Absolutely.
time. I'm sure everybody would tell you that for sure. But I always look at what impact can I have. And I
Hmm.
think when you either do presentation coaching or the more executive coaching, where it's about the leadership, it's always how can it benefit everybody? How can we lift
Yeah.
everybody up? And particularly, I know some people can go through patches where they feel like they're in the doldrums a bit and careers stagnant. Is there something out there that we can do that can help them a bit? Just lift them up. And it is
Yeah.
that stepping into the end outcome, as you say, imagining you already have it.
Yeah.
And that is that superpower. It is like magic sometimes. It
Oh,
really
yes,
is.
that's superpower. It's like magic. And I think the other thing I've learned from you, Maggie, as well, is that everyone has it in them.
Yes.
So if you're watching this, you have a superpower. And one of the ways that you can bring it out is getting like, professional coaching, getting that support. But you in turn can help someone because usually you would see what they don't see. So we all have an opportunity to help people bring out that superpower in them. And it's like magic.
I love that. I love that. Very cool. So I want to make sure we talk about a little bit about your career and the success you've had. And um, I'm always impressed when I've been in the buildings, because I've been in one of the companies at least that you've worked in over the last few years, and you can see what you create, I believe, is a culture of growth where people can be encouraged to do their best and grow. And if it's possible, to do some learning and challenge themselves. Because I think if people don't offer the employees growth and able to do their best, who doesn't want to feel like they're doing their best in a day, um,
Yeah.
and I've seen you, and I'm not quite sure how you do it, but I think that to me is something I really admire, because I've seen companies where the growth is a little bit capped and it's capped and it's capped. And that's not healthy, I don't think, and that's not good for retention either. So how do you do that? And am I right? Is that what you do?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I enjoy it. So I'll not mention names of companies, but I remember that in one of my last companies, I realized that, all the supervisory level employees, like, at a point in your career, you straddle between, okay, I'm experienced, I'm not in leadership, but you kind of don't know where you sit. But I took the initiative of coming up with a program, and that program was like, a catalyst for getting people to the next level. And Maggie, you were involved in supporting, so you run the Speaking for Success part of that leadership program, but it involved a number of things. And what I did was I spoke to the cohort of colleagues, and I tried to get what their gaps were, what they were afraid of. And then based on that information, I came up with a program, and it was really successful. I think that a lot of people just don't know what they have. And as leaders, we need to help them see what's possible. And so I took that with me into my next role. And in this organization, when I got there, what I realized was that everyone wanted to be promoted. They had a really young workforce. And but what I realized was that it wasn't the promotion that they needed. They just needed to build their own confidence, build the way they spoke, build the way they showed up. And there was also like a knowledge of resources that was being underutilized. So what I did was I just opened up a whole new world, getting people to think about the growth mindset, the fact that anything can be learned if you put your mind to it, getting them to think about their development in 3 years, where they wanted to be and how they could work towards that. And that alone was transformational for people, and the feedback was amazing. And so everyone has the potential to be the very best they can be. I think sometimes in leadership, we just need to show people and steer them in that direction. And I think obviously that's what coaching has done for me as well, right? The leader also needs a coach. As I say, now I work in elite sports, and for people to perform at the best of their chosen sport, whether it's football, it's tennis, or athletic, they all need a coach that is the accountability partner, that pushes them out of their comfort zone, that gives them constructive criticisms. And that process of discomfort is what moves you to the next level. And so in an organization, we can do it. But I think the next level is just getting someone that can help you, that can tell you as it is and help you, take your career or skills to the next level.
Oh, I love that. I think there's two things you said there that I love. One is it opens up whole new worlds for everybody.
It does, yeah.
And
It
that's it,
does.
isn't it? Because none of us want to feel we're contained in a box. We want to actually have that fulfillment. And opening up whole
Yeah,
new worlds is what this does, the coaching does. And transformational was the other word. And I think that's what we can do. If we want something and we need to transform a bit to do it, then let's have some fun and do it. And I think that's the whole thing, isn't it? You can have some fun with it as well. It doesn't
it
have to be
is a lot of
hard work.
fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And I think a lot of people have like self-limiting beliefs. And sometimes I think that would be the third thing, the power of three. I should have added that. You just need someone to help you remove that, right?
Yes.
And the way you can hear is someone telling you, you can make it, you can be there, believe in yourself, you can work at it, it's possible. We just need to hear that sometimes to help take off that
Yeah.
self-limiting belief. So that would be the third thing I would say.
I like that. Yes, because it's a big point, and it is, you have to remove the fear first, because you don't want to be pushing through that much fear. It creates too much stress.
It
Too much
does,
stress on the
indeed.
adrenal glands,
Yeah.
physically as well. So yes, helping people get through and the other side of the fear is something I really do enjoy doing, because suddenly they you can see them come more alive. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Enyo, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing a bit about your coaching journey and your career. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. It's my pleasure. It's always lovely talking to you. And you inspire me too, Maggie. Keep doing what you do.
Oh, thank you. I definitely will. Thanks, Enyo.
Bye.